Hey there, I am American Social Democracy. And before I start, let me just say, please consider subscribing to this channel, um, hitting that notification bell so you're kept up to date with what I have to say. Um, and let's go. Let's have at it. With predatory capitalism against the working class, against the individuals, people at work, individual working class people, individual working class families, individuals from all walks of life. It's getting to the point, and I have to ask this question. Do we really need to glorify the work ethic? We have income inequality. I'm not going to say that there was a perfect time for America, but we have income inequalities that's made a comeback in profound ways that was considered uncivilized as recent as the 1960s and 1970s, even to a certain point, the 1980s. I mean, the fact that there's the middle class is disappearing before, is evaporating before our very eyes. There's like an effort of almost to the point where our government and our corporations, as a badge of honor, bask in denial of opportunity, making education more expensive than it needs to be. And in the workforce, for greedy corporations, and to an extent, federal and state and municipal governments, to bypass people being paid a decent salary and getting good benefits. You put up a little barrier called temp agencies and contracting, and that way workers don't get the full rights that they need to have in a workplace setting, and it's just another effort to deny opportunity. It's the government and the corporations. It's the corruption. Corporations, donors buy our politicians from both parties. And they direct policies that's opposed to the American people. Uh, Outsourcing in the last 40 years, actually, and really went to speed in the 1990s, and we still live with it, was a way to take away what belongs to all of us. Union busting was another way, all tied up together. And why do we let these people do it to us? I mean, we all complain of what a crappy day we had at work. Man, I'm worked way too hard. It just they 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 just push more crap on us. Or you know, man, my health insurance doesn't cover. I'm paying more for my health insurance, getting less coverage, or I don't have health insurance. Or even if you have health insurance and you're paying out of your asshole for high premiums, and you complain. I've known people that complain, man, I can't afford to go to the doctor. I can't afford these medications. I can't afford this medical procedure. And I go and say, well, in Europe, this is what they do. No, no, we don't want that socialized medicine. I'd rather die. I'd rather have the insurance company rape my asshole than to allow free medical care. Ew. That is their attitude. Oh, it drives me crazy. The Overton window in this country just poisons people's minds into thinking that the powerful can do this to us as if it's the natural progression of things. It's the way things were meant to be. And we need to stop glorifying hard work when we're not getting paid what we're supposed to be paid, or we're not getting compensated the way we need to be compensated. I say the hell with hard work until certain demands should be met. And these are not these demands are not too much to ask for. A living wage job guaranteed to everybody in this country as a birthright. You are born, you get raised by your parents, you go to school, you graduate from high school, you graduate from a technical college, you graduate from a university, whatever there is, a job should be there for you. Medical care, duh, it needs to be free. It needs to be free. Free. Medicare for all, the way it's done in Canada, UK National Health Service, or even that uh, slightly less acceptable to my standards system that they have in Holland, Belgium, and Germany, where there's a mix of private insurance systems, but they have it in a way where it's actually um, beneficial to people. Is a more efficient. I call it a more efficient and more public and more efficient version of Obamacare. They have a public and private systems kind of working together. It's not what I want, but that's better than what we have currently. But healthcare, a living wage job, and that job, whatever is in the private sector or in the public sector, you're getting 4, 5, 6, 7 weeks paid vacation each year. You have you work and do a good day's work. You can stay at that job as long as you want until you're ready to retire. And you wouldn't have to worry about getting outsourced or laid off. And if you're laid off or outsourced, the government will make sure you're employed and you're keeping your benefits and your wages and your retirement and your time off. All that should be considered a right. People should not have to worry when it comes to the economy. It should be guaranteed. It should be as guaranteed as natural as the air you breathe in and out, or the simple function of standing up, sitting down, sleeping, getting up, eating, living. And people talk about profitability of companies. The American people should not be made to work for corporations. Corporations should be made to work for the American people. A job is supposed to be the center of it all, not what a corporate board member makes and all that. No, no. You are entitled to a job, a unionized job that pays a living wage with medical benefits, with generous paid vacation times, and a pension. It should be natural. None of this, garbage that takes place now. And, I mean, we were kind of on our way to doing that generations ago. I mean, I don't care what people say. When Franklin Roosevelt became president, he was our greatest president we ever had. I don't think America's going to ever have a greater president than Franklin D. Roosevelt. He got us out of the Great Depression with common sense policies. Only problem with FDR's New Deal is it didn't go far enough. Although he tried, it was called the Second Bill of Rights. Check it out. But the thing about it is, we were on our way. And by the time Ronald Reagan came along, you see, between Roosevelt, the time of Roosevelt and Reagan, from the time Roosevelt died, we're talking about Democrats and Republican presidents alike: Harry Truman, Dwight Eisenhower, John F. Kennedy, Lyndon Johnson, Richard Nixon, Gerald Ford, and Jimmy Carter, from both parties, Democrat, Republicans. There was basically a New Deal consensus. And that New Deal consensus was, basic things like, people have a right to form a union and have a union job. Um, there were roadblocks such as Taft-Hartley Act, which needs to be abolished, where all these right to work states just screw people over and trick people into believing that they're concerned about the worker when they're not concerned about the worker. The right to work exists to bust unions. Um, we have 6% of the workforce that's unionized now in the private sector. And people going to sit there and act like unions are the problem in this country. The only problem there is right now with unions is 6%. We had it so much better when we were a third of the workforce that was unionized. And in the 1960s and 70s, we were one-third of the U.S. workforce belonged to a labor union. And look where we're at now. They finally found a way to ban unions without legislation that specifically banned it. They just let it wither away. And this when Ronald Reagan came in, and the sad thing about it is, I don't like Ronald Reagan, but the sad thing is that I don't even think Ronald Reagan meant for it to go this far, where you almost have Democratic presidents governing to the right. I used to say Richard Nixon. I'm beginning to wonder if the Democratic presidents are now governing to the right of Ronald Reagan, referring to Bill Clinton, referring to Barack Obama, referring to Joe Biden. Spare me the hubbub about a few social issues here and there where Reagan was kind of socially conservative. That's probably the only area where Clinton, Obama, and Joe Biden would be to the left. They, this progression that started in 1980, and each Republican president got to be more right wing and push the envelope further right, pushing the Democrats further right in the process. I mean, we don't, and people get mad at me when I say we need a Labor Party. But, I mean, with the Bernie Sanders movement that he created in 2016, 2020, and I think that he was trying to create this Labor Party within the confines of the Democratic Party, but it's not working. It's not working, and I'm so sorry that it's not working. And I'm going to be proven right that we need a Labor Party, because when Democrats are behaving like moderate Republicans, can't even do force a vote during a pandemic, because well-meaning progressives within the Democratic Party know how horrible the corporate Democrats are toward them and what they could do to punish. So, thing about it is, as I said, just summing it up, we need a political party that fight for the interests of working people. But before that happens, working people need to do what they can to fight against their predatory corporate masters that controls all of us. I mean, we become one huge Walmart, and private insurance companies are stronger. Banks can do whatever the hell they want to us. Wall Street continues to be deregulated. There are politicians trying to eradicate Social Security and Medicare and the basic entitlements. And we need to draw the line in the sand and says, stop it. I get I get angrier all the time thinking about this. Anyway, if you like what you heard, press like and comment. If you disagree, comment anyway. We'll have a conversation. Feel free to share the content on this channel. As a First Amendment absolutist, it's my duty to inform you that if to create your own platform and utilize it, because we're the muckrakers of our time. And hit that subscribe button, that notification bell, so you're kept up to date. And until next time, class struggle yesterday, class struggle today, class struggle tomorrow, and class struggle until we have full economic and social justice for all. Peace.